said Marauder.
Howdy there, folks. This is Parallax of the Black Pants Legion coming at you tonight with Painting with Parallax. Tonight, we've got Ambulamps with us co-hosting, and I'm thrilled to have her with us. So, how about y'all go ahead and, well, whatever it is y'all want to do, let's go ahead and get into it. And I'm going to accidentally close my Twitch channel because that's a good thing to do. Amber, why don't you go ahead and say hello while I get that pulled back up?
Oh, hi. I didn't really have anything planned. I thought I was going to mostly be commenting on painting or painting myself or just watching chat.
Hey, I'm happy to have banter and chat management. So, oh, Amber's a little quiet. Let's see if I can't do anything about Amber being a little quiet. Amber, don't be so quiet.
Aw. Why do I need to yell? Do I need to yell?
Okay, talk again.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Good.
Good.
We are all good on this excellent day.
On this fine Thursday, my friend.
Yes.
To my knowledge, there's no meme for Thursdays.
Well, I mean, the weekend is nearly upon us, but that's all I got.
It's like the tease. It's a tease of the weekend. You're like, oh, it's so close.
Yes.
But it's not Friday night because you still have one more day of work.
But you got to get down on Friday whenever it comes around. Oh, that's excessively loud on the music. Apologies. There we go. Okay. So, as Bowser was saying, tomorrow, our good friend Redcastle Bowser, BPL station manager, is going to be taking a break from Legacy of Kain to be giving us all a taste of a good old Lucasfilm classic, The Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition. It was released in, I think it's been about 10 years ago. To answer your question, Tactically Grumpy, real quick, yes, I do. That's why I own spring clamps. So that you can do this thing. I went over this last week. You do this, and they don't fall over anymore. Yay!
And you also mentioned the other day.
Yes, I also mentioned the other day that I used this spring clamp, which is the wrong spring clamp, and it shot out of there like a slingshot and covered me in black paint. So, that's good. Anyway.
$20 in, was it something black? Templar Black? Black Templar?
Black Templar. I did lose about half of this pod of Black Templar contrast paint. But Redcastle Bowser is going to be playing Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition tomorrow. Ton of fun on that game. So tonight, I thought we could do something related. And let me go ahead and tell you. Brought to us by the fine modeler at Lost Hobbyist. You can find that on Patreon or on my mini factory. We have our very own Ghost Pirate LeChuck, amongst others. But tonight we're going to paint us a Ghost Pilot LeChuck. For those of you that aren't familiar, LeChuck is the antagonist of the game and a ghost and evil. Lost Hobbyist also has a mostly faithful Guybrush Threepwood, a three-headed monkey that I've started, and a Stan, who's here to sell you everything. Now, Stan, I already painted, but we're going to do LeChuck tonight, but I never like to paint one thing at a time, so I'm going to ask this question. While I'm painting LeChuck, chat, I'm going to paint a mech to go with him in the same color pattern so that, I don't have to get out more paints. Do you guys want to do a Vapor Eagle? That is a Vapor Eagle. A Hunchback. The Hunchback brought to you by White Rook Studios. A Marauder 2C, also brought to you by White Rook. Or, let's see, what else do I have sitting here? Let's say, oh, that'll be good. An Orion, a Catalyst Orion.
That 2C looks like the RoboCop. I forget the name of it. I never remember.
The ED209.
You have 10 seconds to comply.
Okay. So you let me know how that little vote there is going, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting out some paints. The reference I'm using for LeChuck is from probably the sequel, the Curse of Monkey Island, I believe, was the second game that had LeChuck as kind of a blue and greenish zombie. So we're going to be using tonight Proacryl Turquoise, a little bit of Viejo Dark Blue, a touch of Mephiston Red for the coat, and then for all of the dark touches, the previously mentioned Black Templar contrast, and I guess I do need something of an off-white for bone color. We have some Proacryl Ivory. And just like last week, I'm going to be using some of this medium that I've mixed up. That is a blend of acrylic medium, water, and flow improver. That kind of gives us that Lamian medium contrast kind of effect. And at that's what we're looking at. So, which make are we looking at tonight, Amber?
It looks like people were going for hunchies, but it looks like Diggs is also trying to set up a poll.
Oh, we have a poll. Oh my.
Oh, now we're getting all fancy.
Aren't we just? Welcome to WBPL 76. WBPL brought to you by viewers just like you. That's right, WBPL viewer funded.
Oh, I'm completely wrong. The people in the chat were a vocal minority. People are voting for Orion or Marauder. It's about tied.
Orion,
one extra vote on the Orion.
One vote ahead so far, folks. I'm seeing, it looks like I got about 17 votes with 46 people in chat. I know y'all can do better.
I'm curious, do you have the Hexflame Wraith wash?
Or
the Warp Lightning Contrast? I love both of those for the green.
I don't. I recently picked up the... Now, for like a bright green... For a bright green...
It's a neon ghostly green.
Here we go. This is Proacryl Yellow Green. This shit's great. Like, just for a point of reference here, this model is a mix of blue and turquoise and that green, and that gets you this spoopy-ass ghost. That green is great. I love it.
Ooh, pretty.
Okay, so it's looking like the Orion is running away with it. So tonight, we will do a Ghost Pirate LeChuck, and apparently LeChuck's battle mech of choice, the Venerable Orion.
Venerable Orion.
Yes.
Seating.
Orion's one of my favorite mechs. I don't know how you feel about it, but I love it. Okay, so let's see. How do we want to do this? I guess here's what we'll start with. Here on LeChuck, we're going to start with our Mephiston Red on his coat because I'm sure everyone here that's ever put paint down on a model knows red is kind of awful on opacity. So if we make any mistakes and splosh over anywhere else on this, it's going to be super easy to cover up. So we're going to start with that red. So put down a bead of that. For any of you that are asking, and I can't imagine why you would, I'm using just a bit of palette paper here. Because I don't actually have like a little ceramic tile to work on. I do have a wet palette. I don't tend to use it because it's the smallest bit of work. And I am, some people would choose to say lazy. I'll say efficient. So, and I'm going to go ahead and move some of this stuff over here. For those of you that were here with us last week, how am I sounding this week? I've changed microphones. I'm hoping this is a little bit better. Okay, these are 3D printed and they are primed. I saw that question pop up. Okay, thanks y'all. So these are just rattle can primed. The Orion is actually zenithal primed. I went over what that is last week. That's just basically dark on the bottom, light on the top to simulate light hitting the model.
You do that with a rattle can or airbrush?
Yes.
Both.
Yeah. Now, I did these with a rattle can because setting up and cleaning my airbrush is, like I said, it's work. And unless I'm doing like a lot at a time, I don't really want to get it set up.
True.
Okay, so here we go.
I just don't have rattle cans, so I just use the airbrush for all of it.
Well, I have
cheaper that way.
I have a friendly neighborhood Ollie's, which if you're east of the Rockies, I imagine you might be familiar with. So I don't.
Ooh,
oh my
thank
goodness!
Thank you, the Night Clerk, for 5 Tier 1 gift subscriptions.
My goodness.
Went to Mrs. Narek, Nerf 2, Rider Megalon, Zig Daddy 911, and Ray 24.
Thank you very much, Night Clerk. Much appreciated as we continue to try to grow this channel in every conceivable way we can, up to, but not quite including, bribery and fraud. Which I'm told...
Not including fraud.
Not including fraud. Up to, but not including. Our BPL council, which I assure you we may or may not have, has told us that it is not a good idea to admit to crimes outside of the video game war crime nature.
Oh yeah, do you have a,
I think I do have an
No, you do have music. I had to double check because I have to turn the audio off, otherwise I hear myself, and that's weird.
There is music a-playing. I'm hoping people enjoy it. It's... Well, to be frank, out of what was on Sound Epidemic, I liked it. Let's see. You know, he's kind of got a rain cape across the top of his jacket here. I think I'm going to paint that a different color for some extra contrast on him. Let's see. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's set that aside for a second. We'll get a little bit of red down on our Orion. We're going to try to mirror the same paint scheme on the Orion as we're doing it on the Ghost Pirate LeChuck here. And let's see. We'll keep that down here on the torso. Now, if you all can see this, and I hope you can, the thinned out paint here that I'm using should pick up some of the highlights and shadows out of the zenithal priming that I've got down here, because I have thinned it with that ad hoc contrast medium. And the zenithal will give us the shadows and highlights that should naturally be there. We hope. Now, Amber, I had Bulk on last week who was telling me about his... He was telling me I believe he said he had a Guard army and a Necron army. Are you into any war games at the moment?
I'm not playing war games, but I do have a multitude of tabletop games that I have been meaning to paint and have been putting off.
Well, what is hiding in your pile of shame?
Oh, it's not a pile of shame. It's a room of shame at this point. But the current models that I have been working on are from Bardsung, which just got shipped to me from Kickstarter. It is a dungeon crawling, evolving RPG-esque kind of game.
Okay. Kind of board game-ish, or?
It's definitely more board game-ish than TTRPG, but the figures I've been focusing on are what do they call the names? Oh gosh, I don't even know the names. There's like a brute guy with a giant axe and like 20 skulls all over him. I counted. It was weird.
That's a lot of skulls to be wearing. I mean, I guess that's all relative. Like 20 skulls in the cemetery, yeah, maybe not so weird. 20 skulls in mortuary, yeah, that might be a little weird if they're sitting out. 20 skulls on a dude, that feels like a lot.
I mean, it's not the best armor. Skulls are kind of fragile.
I mean, it depends on how many steel plates they had in their head. Okay. Give him a little bit of red shirt action there. I guess we should get his arms a touch. Get right up to that first line there.
The models that I've really been meaning to put together and paint, though, are my collection of Kingdom Death Monster.
You know, I have heard of Kingdom Death, and it's my understanding that if you wanted to pick a game that could challenge GW on price per model, that's the one.
Oh, yes. I've probably spent in the $3,000 or $4,000 range on my entire collection of Kingdom Death.
Wow. Okay.
I
That's
have
dedication.
pretty much every expansion currently, every gameplay expansion currently out, as well as Kickstarter in for pretty much all expansions going forward.
Now, is that all the figures or just all of the gameplay?
It is not all the figures because there is a lot of pin-up figures that they release.
I was going to say, as
other special figures.
The other thing that I remember about Kingdom Death is plenty of what you might call unsafe for work models.
They are mostly, yeah. I would say they are not safe. They are not safe for work, but they're like tasteful nudes, for the most part.
You know, it's a mostly naked woman wrapped in a scrap of cloth holding a butcher knife, you know, like you do.
Yeah, but it's equal opportunity because you also have the mostly naked man with his Olong Johnson sticking out.
Oh, well, you know, that's just egalitarian there.
Yeah.
Everyone's included. Okay.
I mean, everybody gets one piece of clothing. They always choose the loincloth.
Let's see. Now, my plan here is to take these guys and anywhere where there's skin, or in the case of LeChuck here, I think I'm going to get his breeches. I'm going to make the same kind of teal. Anywhere where I've got that, I'm going to come back through and I'm going to do the highlights with this. Viejo calls this dark blue. I don't know about you, but that blue doesn't seem especially dark to me. I mean, especially compared to something like, this is Prussian blue, which I guess in Germany blue is darker. I don't know.
It does seem more like a light, well, not a light baby blue, a dark baby blue.
It is certainly darker than Caldor Skies. It's almost the same, but it's a little more saturated. So,
probably depends on if it has any opaqueness or translucency.
Ooh. Okay, there we go. There's a touch of that. Turquoise by ProAcryl. MonumentHobbies.com.
Not sponsored, but please sponsor us.
WBPL 76 is not sponsored by Monument Hobbies. Although, we are willing to accept such things.
Wet tray has been mentioned before, but it is a slight amount of work, which is too much work.
I do have it. I could even grab it and show it to you, but this will be a one evening project, and yeah. Wet palette is handy whenever I'm doing a bunch of something, but tonight I'm painting 2 models, so I'm not going to worry with it. No, that's not what we want to have happen. Don't be doing that.
I've heard tales of a new paint line coming out from Duncan Rhodes, whose name some people might recognize, but I personally don't.
Would that be 2 thin coats?
Indeed, it is 2 thin coats. But I bring it up because people are saying that Vallejo has some strange names, and Guild Games Workshop also has just the weirdest names, but apparently a big complaint with the new 2 thin coats paint line is that the names don't match a lot of the colors at all.
Oh, I can see.
So if you say boarhide, what color is that?
Well, to me, a boarhide would be kind of somewhere in the neighborhood of a tannish color trending toward brown.
It's pretty close, but again, you don't know exactly off the top of your head. It doesn't really click in with you instantly.
Not especially.
How about glistening gums? What color do you think that is?
I would hope that's a pink.
It's a dark pink. It's a very It's not glistening in any way, shape, or form that I can tell.
That's a dark pink. Would you call that red?
Not quite. It's definitely pink. It's not quite burgundy because there is a sword hilt burgundy.
Sword Hill, it's known for their burgundiness. Would you call it magenta, perhaps?
I would not myself.
Is that because you don't like magenta?
No, I would not. I just would not think it's the same thing as magenta. It's not pink, it's lightish red.
Thank you, Donut.
How about Royal Cloak? What color do you believe that to be?
I would say that's purple.
It is not purple.
Well, that's just absurd. What is it then?
It is just a dark gray. Maybe with a hint of purple, but the barest hint of purple.
Pardon me for just a moment. I appear to have put my reference photo device, that is to say, my phone, across the room for reasons I'm sure.
Not sponsored by T-Mobile or Verizon or whatever carrier you happen to have. But
This broadcast is not brought to you either by T-Mobile or Google with the Pixel 6. That's right. You can get yourself a new phone by Google. Get the Pixel 6. Not sponsored.
I'm not sure if they don't know how to label paints, but so many paints have different names now that if you're trying to stick out, you have to kind of use your own names for these paints, or possibly there's some kind of trademark, like you can't say Blood Angel Red. But
okay, there we go. This is the reference picture, which I hope that comes across. I'd pull it up otherwise. This is the reference picture. It would appear that his shirt is, okay, that is a cream color. We had everything else pretty close to right, although I'm still going to make his hat black because pirates have black hats.
most of the colors do happen to have the color name in them, like Wolf Gray, Cold Corpse Blue.
Ooh.
But even then, they're not the standard names that people think of for these kind of colors, so you'll have an idea. It's like, sure, it's blue, but what does it mean, Cold Corpse Blue? Is that a light or a dark color? Not quite clear off the name.
There we go. This is Pro Acro Ivory, as we went over earlier. Now, as we're talking about names of paints, the fine people at Pro Acro are nice enough to call it the name of the fucking color. This is bright yellow green. This is ivory. This is turquoise. You know, color names.
And they enjoy using correct descriptive adjectives.
They're here to sell you paints, not concepts.
Like if somebody calls it clockwise green, I'm not going to know what color that is.
Well, it's the color of a clock. That's green.
It's muscular blue.
Ooh, wait, what?
I'd be a little bit terrified of muscular blue, to be honest. We don't talk about muscular blue.
We don't do muscular blue up in these parts. So I wonder what chat's working on lately, assuming they're working on minis as they should. You know, we've all got to do our part to slay the gray. Hashtag Ninjon, hashtag Slay the Gray, hashtag Trapped Under Plastic Podcast. This broadcast is not brought to you by Ninjon or the Trapped Under Plastic Podcast.
At the very least, doing a zenithal prime on your models.
Well, on some of them.
It makes it look so much better. Especially if you can get the marbled look. Ooh. It just works so well for some games. Not war games, but...
I'm not bothering with it on LeChuck here because Monkey Island is a very cartoonish game and a very cartoonish art style. So we're just going to make him very cartoonish in his color scheme. Okay. Let's set him aside for a minute and go back to our friend, the Ghost Orion. I don't know, does the Ghost Orion have a... Does LeChuck's battle mech have a name, guys? Emma, do you think it has a name?
I'm probably going to commit sacrilege by saying I've never actually played Monkey Island, so I don't know if he has a ship or something. But
Well, he is
LeChuck's
a pirate.
Revenge, perhaps?
I mean, I do believe that's the name of the second game. I think I had called it... It's Monkey... The Curse of Monkey Island, or The Secret of Monkey Island 2. LeChuck's Revenge is the second game, and he is a ghost pirate, what has a ship, and I guess you're going to have to tune in tomorrow to watch our good friend Red Castle Bowser play. Either that, or I'm just going to, send it to you on Steam and then make you play it.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
No. The name suggested. Oh, boy.
Oh, no, we're not going to be doing that.
Unless you mean clanner as in the mech clans, because,
Well, to be fair, they did spell it with
boy.
a C. For the purposes of keeping Twitch happy, we're not going to go with that name, but thank you for your inputs. You know, I almost decided to do a Warhammer this week, and then I kind of thought, feels like that might be a bit on the nose. But at the same time, LeChuck is timely.
Well, I would say timeless, but time leave does work here.
Okay, and we'll get right around the cockpit with some of this turquoise. Just to, like I said, keep trying to match these color schemes up, and depending on how quick this goes tonight, maybe we'll work on 3 models. We'll see. What are we thinking, guys? Are you going to focus for me tonight, camera? I guess not. We can all see what's going on here, but I don't know how many people were with me here last week. I like that. I like I like LeChuck being a member of the Tortuga Dominion. That's great. For those of you that weren't with us for our inaugural podcast last week, this is what we worked on. Chat decided that we needed to do an atlas because, I don't know about you, but you always need more atlases. And he is painted as the mech of Scrombles, and Scrombles as in Tex's protagonist in the Fallout game, and also Tex's Battletech game as the leader of Scrombles' Murder Division. So he is Vault-Tec Blue.
I was going to say, he looked like a Smurf for a second there in Ultramarine.
Well, hopefully the blood spatter separates him from that.
Space Marine.
Space Marine! Now, I don't play 40k, so nobody has to really worry about me painting 40k stuff in here. I did once buy a box of Mechanicus Guitarii, and I enjoy painting those. I did not enjoy paying $40 for the box of them.
It sounds like you got a deal at only 40.
I'm pretty sure I didn't get a deal on that. It was just like one unit, and I bought it from a local, licensed GW Warhammer store, so I didn't get no deals.
Yeah, they don't exactly like putting those on discount.
It's a GW store. Nothing's on discount.
It's a reverse sale. It's more expensive today.
Why, it's every day down here at Big Harry's House of Battletech. I don't know who Big Harry is, but apparently he had... Did I say Battle? Damn it. Warhammer. Big Harry's House of Warhammer. We're going to put some of this Black Templar Black Contrast Paint. Somehow I lost that name. Onto LeChuck now and get his beard and his hat and his boots. Get our base coating all done on him here. Oh, I suppose he does have some belts, and I did say I was going to do his rain cape on that, but that's getting to be an awful lot of black right up here at the top of the model. What do you think, Amber? Should we go back to the red for the rest of that, the top of that coat, or look at something else?
I would have to look at another reference picture, because I'm pretty sure that it would be more of a an orangish red. Let me go check.
Ooh. Orangish red. I do have that as an option, because I don't have access to a real good, base color red from Viejo locally.
Also, there's fairly different variations of it.
Oh, yes. You're looking for the one from the cover of the second game. LeChuck's Revenge is the one that you're looking for.
It looks like it's maybe a slightly darker color with golden filigree.
Okay. I'll put some black down, and then we can put some red back over the top of it, and being what it is, the red will show that right through. And then, what color was the hat? I was going to do the hat in black, but it looks like it's brownish, doesn't it? As is the belt. My goodness. Okay. We're changing stuff on the fly here, folks.
Like a green-gray tan with a leather belt around the embellishment around the edges.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna go with a brown for the hat, since I do have that handy. In my art that I've got, it looks kind of like a bright tan, maybe kind of torch lit. So that could be brown. Maybe we can pick that up in a highlight or something. Again, doesn't really look like this in game, so we're gonna go kind of with a hybrid here.
We're just gonna put a little dark color. That'll be our little secret.
A little bit of happy snakebite leather here on the hat.
I love snakebite leather.
Yeah, there are some contrast paints that are just great. There's some that are trash. I do believe I said this last week. Don't buy contrast purple, because contrast purple is awful. Either one. Don't buy either one. Don't buy Magus. Don't buy Shyish. They're terrible.
I have heard good things about the purple from the new Army Painter Speed Paint line, though.
At some point, I really got to get that order in. Hell, I got my tax refund. I guess I could do that.
It's cheaper, and you get about the same amount.
And it comes in a dropper bottle.
Squeeze bottle.
Squeezy bottle. That's right here, folks. Down here at WBPL 76, you get me making strange voices from time to time because, frankly, we're all pretty weird.
What do you mean, all of us?
Okay, fine. Amba's
Particularly
not as
weird.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say perhaps not as weird, but, I'll let you own it.
And we all have our vices.
I don't think I was saying anything about your vices, but,
Well, I'm probably the craziest one because I don't drink nearly as much as anybody else, as far as I can tell.
Hey, you're just saying that because I may or may not have this. I think it's fair to call this a triple just off screen.
It's apple juice, I swear.
It is apple juice. That's exactly what it is. I raided my kid's supply of apple juice and then put it over ice and put it in a rocks glass.
That's how they do it in the films, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Get some of that old-timey Hollywood magic going on in here on the Twitch stream. Here's another tip for people that are perhaps new to painting, which, you know, I don't know how many of you are actually given to doing this crap. I do it because it's meditative and helps me clear my head. Sometimes turn your model upside down. You get a different perspective on things, and then you'll also notice, oh shit, I didn't paint that part of the pants.
Oh, yes. Especially when your models have capes on them.
Yeah, or, you know, waist length, or I guess hip length coats, and doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. I do think you're right. I think we're going to call that that Orion LeChuck's Revenge. I like that. Now that I can't remember what the name of his actual... If anyone in chat can remember the name of LeChuck's ship, I'd appreciate knowing that.
Apparently it's just LeChuck's ghost ship.
We could just call it LeChuck's Ghost Orion if we wanted to, I guess. Yes, snakebite leather.
You know, you'd be surprised that a lot of models you can get away with pretty much shaky hands as long as you're using something nifty like contrast paint.
Oh yeah.
You just basically slather that stuff on there, and it does the work for you.
It's kind of amazing. Like, let me find something that's just sitting here on my desk that has a lot of nooks and crannies on it, and I will just quickly show you what we're talking about. Okay, this I don't remember who made this model. This one it's a spoopy ghost. It's another spoopy ghost. I like spoopy ghosts. We appear to be getting a little bit of blue bleed on my camera there from this right here, but he is just primed. He's not painted. I'm going to use one of those purple paints I was talking about earlier because I just need something to show off what I'm talking about. And we're going to go with the Magus Purple and not the Shyish Purple, because the Shyish Purple, unless you thin it down, it's basically black. And we'll just quickly cover this thing up in Magus Purple. Now, this thing has enough folds and creases and stuff in its cloak that you should just... this should work on this model. Like, this stuff is terrible for tide marking and that kind of stuff on battle mechs and things that have relatively flat panels and that kind of thing, but yeah, this is just me slopping on paint. We'll just get a whole bunch in this brush. Start at the top, work our way down. Anytime we see it pooling, we'll just go back to it. But you know, just no kidding on this. This model, I won't use anything else.
Just look at that. You can already see the shadows pulling in there because it all pools in the crannies.
The crannies. The granny cranny.
Ooh, no, thank you. I would rather not know or hear anything about granny crannies.
Twitch, tell us your 5 favorite things about granny crannies. Or don't.
They're stuffed with toffees and Werther's Originals.
Yeah, that's one coat of contrast paint on this thing. And I'll get a different light on it so you can actually see it a little bit better. Let's try like that. Get it so it's not just washed out. But yeah, that's one coat of contrast paint on this thing.
What was that, a minute and a half?
If it was that, I mean, all I did was slosh this thing over sloppily with a little bit of contrast paint, and I'll give it this, on something that has this much texture to it, even the worst of the contrast paints can do a decent job.
Now, I will say, though, it doesn't work everywhere.
No.
On flatter areas, especially something like an armor plate or shield that has a large flat area.
It's pretty awful on battle mechs broadly.
Probably, I would assume so. I haven't painted any battle mechs myself.
But am I going to have to like send you a bunch of battle mechs?
I mean, I have close enough to battle mechs. Let's see, what game do I have that has close to battle mechs? Tiny Epic Mechs, probably.
didn't even have the decency to say, "Oh, I've got some cav here." Oh, I'm not sure. Have you heard about this lately? Where I've been hearing a lot about this after Adepticon, where there's a company now that's got a new injection molding process that's like,
Oh,
what's that?
I did hear
That
about that.
cell
And now
stuff. Something
I gotta look it
cell.
up.
I'll let you look it up, and I'll keep painting. You know. But like, I saw that stuff, and I was like, that's fucking witchcraft.
I believe it's called Ceocast?
Ceocast, yes. That shit's amazing.
It's a new kind of plastic.
Well, it's the plastic and the process.
Yeah. So essentially, they made it so that smaller companies that want to mass produce sprues of any kind of miniature, I would assume.
I feel like we need to put mass produce in quotation marks here, but
it's not a sweatshop mass producing, but you can make your own sprues and you can do sets of them by one person instead of having to resin cast each one.
Yeah, I mean, like if you were looking at, and I'm not saying, first off, Games Workshop wouldn't do this because Games Workshop actually does their shit in Nottingham. I think it's Nottingham, but they actually do their stuff in-house in the UK. But let's just say they decided, oh, we want to quickly make some of this stuff that we usually sell through their boutique. What is it?
The name is escaping me right now as well. Forge World?
Forge World, that one. And they could just, like, instead of making a numbered Tau Manta, this is an example, like the Tau Manta I'm positive is too big for this process, but let's say it was. Instead of, like, having to go through the process of painstakingly cast this thing in resin, they could just be like, oh, Tau Manta, let's press this button that makes a model in 30 seconds a few times and see what happens. I guess it was like a minute and 15 seconds, but even at that.
It cuts the time down, because you could basically shove a mold in there, cast it, pull it out, let it cool down, and you can already, within the next minute, be making another sprue.
Yeah, it's my understanding that like you don't even have to like wait on the machine to cool down. You have to wait on the mold and the plastic in it to cool down. But the machine itself, like the moment you pull one out, you can throw another one in. And that, I'm a consumer. I have a 3D printer. I'm generally happy with that. But I look at that and I say, oh, Daddy wants that.
I know. I was looking at. I'm like, how much is this? I want one. No way I can afford one, but.
This is if I won the lotto. If I won the lotto project, I'd get myself a Ceocast machine.
Well, I don't think it's ludicrously expensive. It's not like you need to use metal molds or anything. It uses a vulcanized rubber as
it does, and you can make your own molds with it. But at the same time, like even at that, this is a piece of industrial equipment. It's still probably for the machine. I'd be surprised if it were less than $12,000.
Somewhere around there. That sounds reasonable. The other neat thing I saw about it though is that this new material itself is less waste because the sprues, when you pull the models off the sprues, you can toss the sprue, what do you call them, the runners? You could toss those back into your mixing bit and it completely recycles.
And you can just melt them again. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty... I love that idea. I'm totally on board with that. And, like, if somebody could get on making that consumer grade, I'd totally be here for it.
I've also seen that the test models they printed are fairly robust. They have good detail.
Mm-hmm.
They're not incredibly fragile, but they are, if you drop them from 10 feet up in the air, you will probably lose a hand or something. But
yeah, I saw Brent with Goobertown do some brake tests with him. He was dropping them from... he was standing on the ground, but holding them over his head. And, like, yeah, they're going to break at that level, but what isn't?
We do have a question from the chat. Do you have a FFF 3D printer? Which I forget the pause. Is it the?
I have a resin printer. I have an Elegumars 3. It's an SLA.
Yes, that was the other option that I couldn't get to. Yes, SLA.
I was gonna
Sla.
I was gonna get the Anycubic Ultra FDM printer, and then like my original Photon decided to basically give me enough trouble. I didn't want to fool with it anymore, and they haven't released the Ultra yet, so that option wasn't viable. Let's go back over here to our good friend the Orion for a bit, and let's get a little bit of paint on him. What do you say? We can
Yup.
just get a little bit of
Just
this.
gonna put a little bit. It'll be our little secret.
And just put your brush down there in your paint water and just beat the devil out of it. That's the best part of this.
Just pull out your jumper cables and just really go at it.
Just, hit people with a bag full of Valencia oranges so it doesn't leave bruises, and be our little secret.
Yes, Lego is famous for their injection molding because their tolerances are so precise. You can use a model, or you can use bricks printed today with ones printed back in like the 60s.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
I don't remember when they originally came out, but they're crazy.
Now, I will say this on the note of Lego. I have found that today's off-brands, that is to say, not the mega blocks of the 90s and such, but, your max blocks and this kind of thing that you might find at Walmart and whatever, shockingly good. Shockingly. I remember mega blocks when I was a kid were trash.
Oh yeah.
And then like my wife's grandmother bought my kid some of these Max blocks, and like aside from the fact that they say Max on the pegs instead of Lego, like they're indiscernible.
It's always the best when you can get actual competition that is comparative in quality.
Right? I mean, to be fair, like I don't think they have Star Wars licensing or real model kits,
Not
but
likely.
at the same time, it's like, yeah, we've got giant boxes full of just blocks. For a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, that's perfect.
That's all you need.
Well, it's not like the 4-year-old's actually building anything aside from a minefield anyway. But I promise, he is building that.
I remember reading, I think maybe a year ago or something, that investing in Lego kits is actually better investment than gold.
Good God.
Because the interest rate that it accrues was something better than gold or something. Oh, it's crazy. It's like, you want to invest? Oh yeah, buy the Lego Death Star for $800.
Yeah,
It'll be worth $1,000 in a couple of years.
That reminds me of like the car market for the last 2 years. It's been like, yeah, cars that frankly shouldn't be that expensive are just through the damn roof. Where I saw, I'm biased on cars because I remember when I was in high school, Kia was a Econobox, shit Korean brand, and now they like make cars you actually want to buy. But, I still think, oh yeah, Kia, like the Sophia, that Econobox shit. And it's like, oh yeah, you can buy the new Kia Telluride. And then during the course of pandemic, those things appreciated in value up to like almost 3 times their retail cost. And I'm just, what?
Yep, chip shortage. It's affecting everything. I'm just glad the graphics cards prices are finally coming down. I've seen like 3080s down for under $1,000 now, which is unheard of for the last 2 years.
After making all the GIFs and stuff that I have been for WBPL for the last 2 weeks or so, I've been looking at my computer and saying, this thing's pretty good for games, but I'm starting to feel like I need some more RAM and some more processor. So, graphics card hasn't become a bottleneck yet.
Gotta download some more giga chips and mega flops.
Got to get some teraflops in this thing so I can make the GIFs. The extra crunchy GIFs. If I say GIFs enough, will people start leaving chat? I don't know.
It's pronounced GIF, Sonic. Graphics interchange format. The creator said so.
Yeah,
What
well.
the hell, Shadow? I love those. Oh, just the live dubs of the Sonic Adventure cutscenes.
Oh, man. My kids, I don't know where they picked this up. Suddenly, I haven't played any Sonic games in front of them. Like, maybe some years ago when my daughter was small, like I played Sonic Mania in front of her. But I haven't played anything else in front of them. Suddenly, they love Sonic. I don't know where this has come from. They haven't seen the movie. They haven't played the games. They just love Sonic.
Are they talking like what was his name?
Jaleel White.
Jaleel White. I thought it was Jameel for a second there.
No, luckily so far they're not going around asking for chili dogs.
Chili dogs. Oh, I've loved that old cartoon.
Can I get some chili dogs, Chet?
With Scratch and Grounder.
Oh, God. Oh, God. The bad Sonic cartoon from our youth.
You say bad. I loved that thing. It was so cartoony, kooky.
You must have been younger than I was.
Probably.
That's changed over time, I'm sure. Now you're less younger than I was, or something.
Looking back, I may have rose-tinted glasses at it, but for the time, it was pretty good.
And then there was the Saturday morning Sonic, which was amazing. My parents decided I didn't need to watch that for reasons I'm sure.
That was the one with Sally and
Yep.
where like it was actual body horror and
Yep.
stuff. Ooh.
We're gonna shove you in a box, Sonic, and make you power a robot. 20 fucking years now I've been saying robot. Thanks, Homestar Runner.
Yeah.
Watch a robot. Ha 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 ha. He doesn't know what a robot is.
Great Jorb, hand spray. See, you're older than I am. You have children, but that was my jam growing up was Homestar Runner. So I'm a little surprised that you're sticking with it.
I'm not that much older, I'm sure, because like I still remember that. But when I was Sonic was a thing when I was in high school. Not Sonic, Jesus H Christ. Homestar. Homestar was in its heyday when I was in high school. It's one of those things where it's Tuesday.
Junior high-ish?
You're not that much younger than I am.
I do remember hearing about the Kick the Cheat plushie in junior high. So
The short.
The cheat is not dead.
So glad the cheat is not dead. My wife and I will still occasionally look at each other when we turn off a light switch and go, "The cheat is grounded."
Installed the light switch for you. So the cheat could turn the lights on and off, not to throw sweet light switch rave parties.
Exactly. Congratulations, chat. You've come here for the Amba and Parallax Wandered Down Memory Lane section of tonight. We'd like to welcome you all here for nostalgia.
It's like, oh yeah, that wasn't too long ago. That was just like 5-6 years ago. No,
20,
it's like 15.
20 years ago. At some point, Amba, we became the people that things happened to 20 years ago.
Yes. Exactly. It's like people were born after 9/11 that can vote now. It's like, what?
Why would...
Actually, I think next year they can legally drink.
No, dude, this year. This year, it is 2022, sir.
Oh, yeah?
Man.
So it is. Cheerleader, what's her face?
So-and-so, the ugly one. Yes, this is the BPL stream where we paint minis and then endlessly quote Homestar Runner back at each other. I hope you all are enjoying this.
This is like unlocking core memories from my childhood. I did see that there was the new Homestar Runner on Monday. What was it about?
It was last week. It was They always do one on April Fools, a new one, where it was the new parent class.
Oh, I saw the other one that was Strong Bad live streaming as a VTuber.
Oh, yeah. Yup.
Playing meat rejection or meat
Marzipan beef returner or something like
beef.
that.
Yeah, you've returned the beef. Got to get all those chickens.
I didn't get to watch all of that one because what was supposed to be an easy day at work quickly turned into not an easy day at work. But I did watch the beginning of it. Let's get some gold here onto
YouTube
the chucks.
Watch it whenever you want. Not like when growing up and we didn't have the on-demand video or DVRs.
I missed Digimon on Saturday and now I'll have to wait 6 months for the rerun.
If you were lucky. How does Kyrie now have Angelwoman? What happened?
But I liked Garudamon.
Garurumon.
Why do I remember that name and I don't know what the hell it is? I don't remember what Garudamon is. I think it's the wolf. Is it the wolf?
I think it's Garurumon is who you're thinking of. Because Garudamon sounds like you mixed Garuda from Final Fantasy. With
Yes.
just made it a Digimon.
That's what we're doing now. The Gerudo Valley from Ocarina of Time are now Digimon. That's right. We turned Ganondorf into a Digimon. Welcome to the BPL, guys.
Garudamon.
Oh, wait.
I'd listen to it. The Digimon Digi-Rap with Sandstorm.
Name that Pokemon. It's Pikachu.
Oh, God.
It's Diglett. Ah!
Wait, it's still Pikachu? Have you seen those ones?
No, I've not seen those.
It's like a clear silhouette of some other Pokemon, but it's always Pikachu, and it's just like somehow Pikachu in this really weird shape to fit the silhouette. It's horrifying.
It's Gyarados. It's Pikachu. What?
It's like, there's no way this one's Pikachu. It's Pikachu. What?
I mean, come on, guys. That's Steelix. It's Pikachu. What the fuck is even happening? Come on, chat. Tell me your favorite body horror Pokemon.
It's a Bulbasaur picture, but it's really Pikachu.
Body horror Pokemon.
Oh,
What's this
horrifying.
one? Oh, it's that bunny Pokemon. I mean, that's kind of. What's the bunny? Mr. Mime. Yeah, that's.
Lopunny? There's several.
Oh, God, of course there are. I played one generation of Pokemon, and it wasn't Generation 1, so who even knows? Like, I know Generation 1 because that was impossible to escape in the 90s. Like, you know, they had Macy's Thanksgiving Day floats. Why is it impossible to say Macy's Thanksgiving floats? Why do I have to put day on there?
Was Pikachu the one that, like, got impaled on a lamppost in the butt?
I just had to stop painting to process what you said. What?
Also, it is called the Thanksgiving Day Parade, but I do remember there was some float that got, like, stabbed in the butt because the wind pushed it into it and then it deflated.
Pokemon Company was very unhappy that day. The Pokemon Company, which I'm pretty sure is valued substantially higher than Macy's these days.
Oh, probably. I'll call him Hamilton. I'm looking up these Pokemon memes, and I'm just seeing like the 91-year-old grandma guesses Pokemon names. Oh, Just too precious.
Okay,
Dude
here we
must-
go. This is LeChuck
So
base
precious.
coated. We're going to go back and do some shading and highlighting here in a couple minutes, but this is the base coat on LeChuck. Kind of inspired by the second game and also the cover art for the second game. Cover art, he's a little bit more skeletal than ghostly, but I like the ghostly. Coughing is pretty terrible. Coughing is like a living, breathing war crime.
Crawford. I loved his voice. Coughing was just so great. The Blue Man Group is awesome. I love them. They're great fun when you get to see them live.
Which Pokemon is that? That's Arbok! It's Pikachu! What?
Ah, bonk.
What fresh hell is this? Step over back to the Orion to get some silver highlights going on here. Now, I've talked about various paints and what I do and don't like. This is Viejo Metal Color, and this shit is also witchcraft. It's great.
Black magic.
It's like a black magic craft, you might say. But the only metal colors I really use at this point are these, and surprising literally no one that's watched any amount of this is also, I really like the Pro Acryl metallics. So I've got a thing for the Pro Acryl because I think it's great. I've got a type.
I think Pro Acryl makes a color called Titan buff. I've been looking at picking up a thing of that.
I know I've heard of that lately. I can't remember who makes that, but that might be Pro Acryl. It might not be.
It was... Oh, sorry, that's Golden Fluid Acrylics.
Ooh. I know I've heard one of the big mini painting YouTubers use that color lately.
Yeah, it's kind of a buff metal... Or not metal. Buff... bone-ish kind of color.
It's a Shia LaBeouf color.
Shia surprise.
Actual.
Oh yes,
Cannibal.
I do love the Vallejo Metal Air. I have.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
think
this
the
stuff.
entire line of those.
What,
Oh,
you,
boy.
you got all of. Ooh,
So,
that's,
well, I just got like the starter set or whatever, and it has copper, aluminum, burnt rust, and all kinds of stuff. Oh, it's so good.
I've got
The mini.
I've got three of those. I've got the duralumin, gunmetal, and copper. And I hope it's
pirate
durable.
mini is Captain LeChuck from Legend of Monkey Island.
I'm sorry. The secret or curse of Monkey Island, sir, ma'am.
Legend. Why am I thinking? Maybe was that like a re-release?
Dude, there were so many Monkey Island games. I only really think of the first two because those were the only ones Ron Gilbert worked on. And then the new Monkey Island game coming soon. For those of you that weren't aware, I don't know if that influenced Bowser to do this or not, but I like to think so.
Oh, apparently the Legend of Monkey Island is the upcoming game.
Yes. That has return of everyone that made the first two games as great as they were.
Game companies always say that. They're like, made by the guys that did this. And it turns out it was just some random person that worked on like one small spot.
Well, in the case of this game, it actually is the I think it was the director on the game and the main writer. So like it actually means something on Monkey Island. It's like Tim Schafer on the later LucasArts games.
Ugh. It's made by the team that made Diablo 2. It's like, well,
It's made
Unless
by
it's the
one of
entire
the
team.
asset makers for Diablo 2. What did you make? I made the guy that goes Rakanishu.
Rakanishu. Oh, it was one of the interns who brought us coffee. He made it.
Exactly. This is Phil the Coffee Boy's rendition of Diablo. And that, kids, is how we got Diablo 3.
That's how we got Diablo Immortal.
No, I'm not even going to talk
Don't
about
you
that one.
guys have phones? And it's coming out on PC.
Yeah. And because Blizzard is Blizzard and people have a short memory, it's going to make all the money.
Maybe? I'd be surprised, honestly.
I don't know, man. Even if it doesn't have like a huge release, it's going to draw enough whales to it that it's going to make all the money.
That's possible. There are a lot of nice alternatives out now.
But how many of them can you play on your phone?
Well, you don't need to play from your phone because that's a horrible gaming experience most of the time.
Well, I mean, that is true. Unless you're playing Bloon Tower Defense 6. Bloon Tower Defense 6.
Now brought to you by more Balloon.
That's right. BPL 76 not brought to you by Bloon Tower Defense 6 or Ninja Kiwi.
I will admit, even though it had faults, I did enjoy my time that I played playing Diablo 3.
I think I played through it all of twice, and I did enjoy it, and I never got the expansion.
It wasn't a lifelong game. Like, it's not a game I'll probably go back to again and again, like I keep doing with the D2, but I enjoyed my time with it.
But here's the weird thing. Like, even this surprised me. When they re-released Diablo 2, I really expected that to be a game that got a lot of traction in the Legion. And then, like, I've seen Tex play it 3 times, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's weird the games that do get traction in the Legion, because for those of you that are on the outside, we cycle through games real fast sometimes, and then there are certain games that just stick. Like Project Zomboid has just stuck for the last several months.
That comes and goes in waves. We had a big showing back in December, January-ish, and then it kind of went into a lull for a month or two. Now it's back.
Yep.
Current game of the week is Farming Sim, as many people probably know.
Yeah, Farming Sim. Catch that on Saturday. Here on WBPL 76. That's right, you can catch Farming Sim 2022. Where we'll have like 17 people playing that game at one time for about 17 hours.
And they still won't know how to properly send potatoes from point A to point B.
Yeah, but is that their fault or is that the tutorial's fault?
Sure.
Yes! It's a German simulation game. You already know how to literally be a farmer, right? We're just doing some touch-ups real quick on LeChuck's Revenge here, where we've gotten a little bit of overbrush from the other colors on him. We'll just clean that up a bit.
There are many great alternatives to Diablo at this point. Path of Exile being the big one that comes to mind, but there's also like the Titan Quest series, Grim Dawn.
You know, the thing that I really enjoyed about Diablo 2 that Diablo 3 didn't do was Diablo 3 was a fun game, and I didn't really have to pay attention to, oh, these numbers are better than those numbers, so I'm going to get these numbers. And Diablo 3 is like World of Warcraft. It's all about having better numbers. And in Diablo 2, it's like, look at how broken this necromancer is.
Rock a Nishu.
Have I introduced you to my project management necromancer build?
Oh, I love pet builds. You're just kind of walking around and everything dies.
Yeah, you don't have to do any work. It's just like project management.
Enjoy Elden Ring, Dope Scone. It is a very fun game.
From Software, because you don't hate yourself enough.
You know, it's a fair game. It's not hard, it's fair. punishes you for just, mashing buttons.
Unless that button happens to be the roll button.
Even then, they actually have a lot of attacks that will like wind up and then hold it, so that if you try to spam dodge, you'll just get hit by the slightly longer wind up.
That's great. I believe the appropriate response to such things is praise the sun.
Try finger but hole. You can't have a FromSoft game without having some weird lewd message everywhere. Or is this grass?
Treasure this way.
How many hours do I have in Elden Ring? I haven't played in like, feels like a month or something, but I have 107 hours, and I did that all within like the first month.
Good God. How long has it been out, Hamba?
Like 2 months. Oh, I binged the crap out of it. I played through it once, and then I started playing through it again, and then I kind of wanted to try a different build, so I started over again.
This sounds like when I first got... Wow, I'm going to date myself here. When I got Fallout New Vegas on launch day in 2010... That's exactly what I did there. Okay, so we've got base coats on both of these now. So we're going to start going back and adding some shading here to LeChuck. And here's what I'm thinking. On LeChuck, everywhere I've got teal on him right now. I'm going to go through and I'm going to add a blue wash to really deepen that out. And I might come back with just a touch of this bright yellow-green and hit the highlights. And I think that'll give me something suitably ghostly.
I will say, with Elden Ring, they did get rid of the issue of having to trudge all the way back to bosses. They have the Statues of America, I believe the name of
Yes,
or Shrine America, which are basically respawn points pretty much directly outside of the boss doors.
It's nice to know that From Software is also a Free Worlds League group.
They've learned a little bit about what the players had on pain points.
For those of you that that aren't interested very much in BattleTech, House Merrick leads the Free World team, and Free World team. That's what I meant to say, the Free World League. And I know you didn't say Merrick. I know it was what
America.
America. The Shrine to America.
Shrine to America. Just gonna punch everything to death.
What have we got here at the Shrine to America? Well, that's a genuine Armalite 10, boys. We're going to go and shoot the boss up with some genuine NATO 7.62 ammunition. Genuine. That's 308 in American.
Oh, calling us wimps. I don't know. They might have done that intentionally, but it's a nice feature. I very much appreciate it on certain bosses.
For everyone that's curious, Windows Defender says my computer's clean. That's what that chime was. I assume that actually came through.
Don't believe it did.
Oh, well.
Or at least it didn't on my end.
Ah.
Have you scrubbed it down with soap and water lately?
I'm sorry, what am I scrubbing? I'm a little
gotta keep your RAM clean, you know?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you just take like a spritz bottle full of Simple Green and just shoot it into your tower. For those of you that actually play on towers, that's the cleaning process. That's how you do things. Please don't do that. The staff of WBPL is not responsible for any tech tips.
Do whatever the opposite is of what we said.
WBPL, brought to you by LTTstore.com. That's right, LTTstore.com.
They've got new...
water bottles!
Rumblers, whatever they call those. Yeah, the water bottles. And t-shirts. I do love Linus Tech Tips, but yeah, it's a meme at this point.
Yeah, but at least they own it.
Yes. I will say, Cake Boss, there actually isn't any. Well, I think there's very, very little of Elden Ring locked behind PvP. It is very much not like the original Dark Souls, where you have to have humanity all the time. You basically only have PvP when you invite people in to attack you, or you go to somebody's invited world to attack them. Well, the invaders that are in the game are actually NPCs that'll spawn when you get to a certain area, but
it just so happens to be complete coincidence that half of them are named Ambulamps. It's weird.
yeah. It's a complete coincidence that Let Me Solo Her is
See, I don't even play the game and I've run into that meme.
Invader Zim. That's another core memory unlocked.
See, I was a little old for that, but I do still know one thing about Invader Sim. Amber. You look like you need waffles.
Why did you take that out of your brain? I needed more room for the muffins. And Pustulio and Mini Moose.
Now is the time for the recitation of the Doom song.
The movie that they came out with a year or two ago, with the quote of "Now I know nobody else is as excited about science as me," and somebody in the audience yells, "I am." He's like, "Not scientifically possible." He just appears in front of them in the middle of the audience. It was like Hot Topic before Hot Topic became a Spencer's clone.
Hey, that's not true. Hot Topic doesn't have nearly as many lewd postcards.
Nearly as many edible diapers.
Hot Topic kind of got to be like budget Hastings for a while, then Hastings went away, and now they're just Hastings. Can I interest you in this one Boondock Saints lamp that we've had sitting on the floor since that movie came out?
Der Übermensch is now following.
Oh, well. Deutschland, Deutschland.
Something, something, Luftballons. Du hast mein Testikel gestohlen.
I'm going to take your Rammstein on that. Okay.
Oh, the new music video that Rammstein came out with, it was like Snip Snip or something. It's all about keeping beautiful in the fashion world or something, and it's kind of horrifying, but it's like
not inaccurate.
Couldn't look away.
Like, I'm really going to have to take your word on this.
Moisturize me.
Now, damn it, I have red wash somewhere.
Just use Blood Angel's Red. Works. I put that shit on everything.
Thank you, Frank's Red Hot, but I, in fact, like Army Painter washes. Army Painter washes because dropper bottles and viscosity.
With
nuclear vessels.
Nuclear vessels.
Try trying to find the nuclear vessels in Alameda.
Alameda County? I'm not that far from there.
Well, I mean...
I'm from the Bay Area. We're a bunch of hippies and stoners.
And none of us can possibly afford to own our houses, even if our parents did. No. We can't afford to pay taxes on these houses our parents owned.
Like you need to pay a half the price in down payment or something, or like 10%. It's like, yeah, you're still paying $500,000 or something.
Welcome to the Bay Area. Here's your Snap card.
Yeah, pretty much.
What are you going to do? Live in Oakland? Loser.
Yeah.
They don't even have an NFL team.
Not anymore, losers. You thought you were so cool with the Raiders, and then they abandoned you for Vegas. Oh! Oh, I felt that was so poetic when they moved. Because then at least now we don't have to deal with Raider country everywhere around here.
But I do guess you still have to deal with the Athletics. I mean, this week.
Sort of. I'm a bit far removed from Oakland proper, so I'm in Niners territory.
Yeah, I'm thinking baseball.
Yeah. Well, that's Giants territory all over the place.
Well,
it's like Oakland is surrounded just by an ocean of Giants. You're like, oh, look, it's the A's, the Athletics. Yeah, it's the home team. It's like, no. You live in San Francisco Bay Area. You're Giants country. I don't even watch baseball, but you're a Giants fan.
I'm in South Texas, and I'm a Reds fan, and I hurt this year. Like, for anyone in the chat that watches baseball, which I imagine there's none of you, if you know anything about baseball this year, please pass this along. Sell the team, Bob.
Sport ball. Do the goal. Score the thing.
Like, I am from Kentucky. I know two sports. I know Cincinnati baseball and University of Kentucky basketball, and I don't know what football is.
Hand egg. And I still stand by the statement that any sport can be improved by lighting the ball on fire or giving players tasers.
It would make baseball more interesting. I don't know if it'd make it any faster.
If you get touched with the ball, you get tased.
I feel like we'd have a lot fewer fielders catching the ball if it were on fire. Either that or like they're out in the field wearing asbestos gloves or something.
Think about the Arsenals, they're always walking it in.
Luna Bay, I'm going to tell you a real quick Kentucky and Louisville story. Just because y'all are here, you get to hear my Louisville story. Okay. Car Kick Store knows this story. I see her in chat too. Okay. This was a story that I saw some 10 years ago in the major newspapers in the area. Two men in Frankfort, Kentucky, which is roughly halfway between Louisville and Lexington, at a dialysis clinic were arrested after they had a fist fight in the waiting room over basketball. If that doesn't sum up Kentucky sports, nothing does. Two 80-year-old men in a dialysis clinic fighting over basketball. Not even like professional basketball, college basketball.
I just don't really understand the whole team. Like, it's our team. We're part of the team.
We won that game. I'm sorry. We did? Were you out there?
I'm sorry, John, but you were just in the stands getting sloshed on $20 beers and throwing popcorn in people's hair.
I mean, to be
I don't
fair,
think you really contributed.
the last Kentucky basketball coach before our current coach, uh, Gillespie, he may have been sitting in the stands, spilling beer on people and yelling at the refs.
I'd rather watch the antics of the mascots doing stupid things, like deliberately tripping on stairs and just throwing popcorn everywhere. Or my favorite is the inflatable dinosaur that ran up and ate one of the cheerleaders.
I saw that video. That was great. Or where is it? For home games for the Minnesota Twins, baseball again. They have four mascots that each represent a different kind of sausage, and they race around the field at between innings. Like they have a race. It's great.
Oh, I do love Gritty. Gritty, bad things happen in Philly. Just like the dark Gritty in the back of an alley, like the single spotlight showing on him. It's like, oh,
Gritty is the most.
I'm about to die.
Yeah, yes. Like running into Gritty in a dark alley. I think I'd sooner see Batman.
And female Gritty.
Oh no. Remember when the weirdest thing to come out of Philly was the Fanatic, and then Gritty happened? Ah.
It's like, how do we top this kooky zany character?
How do we top this weird-ass bird? How about we make a sociopathic killer? Yeah, that'll do it.
Grimace with the red guy from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Get some more blue wash here on LeChuck. What do you say? I think we've been talking for a while. I've said remarkably little about painting for the last 20 minutes. That is what we're doing here, right?
Yeah, painting, bantering.
Banter's good. Banter is what I'm really here for. Like painting, I'd be doing this anyway.
Hello, framing idiot. I read that twice to make sure that I didn't mess it up, and then I did anyways.
Thank you, Amba.
Framinator.
This is why I brought you on board, so that you can handle chat for me and get all the names just right.
I can pronounce any name. The Bluggen Gentleman. the Blug Entleman.
Oh, let's get some light wash on that skull so that we can make it appropriately scully. What do you say?
Ooh, you gonna put some skeleton horde on there?
Sir, I invest in as little GW paint as possible.
Yeah, I pretty much exclusively only have 10 different contrast paints from them, but this is before Army Painter was a thing.
Oh, well.
Just look at that. Oh. I'm gonna get it all in the little nooks and grannies in there.
The granny crannies. Oh no. For anybody in the BPL that's on staff watching this, please don't make that an emote. Like I've said it out loud now. It's gonna happen. I'm terrified, but
now we just need to get a Diggs and a Psyduck granny.
Oh God.
I don't know if anybody knows outside of the Legion, but we have something like 30 different
bears. Emotes. Like bears doing all kinds of things.
It's all made by Zenith, and they're all the same template, just Dig Dragon, Dig Dolphin, DM from the original cartoon of D&D, Dig Goob, Pixel Dig, Laser Dig, Pickle Dig.
Pickle Dig!
Pickle Dig! Funniest shit I've ever seen. Diggs is our unofficial bear mascot.
Well, I guess he's kind of our mascot after Rudy, so.
Yeah, poor Rudy.
We all miss Rudy.
Rudy lives on in our hearts.
Rudy lives on in our
and
gifts.
Our emotes.
I don't know if you saw that. I sent Psyduck You remember the gift? I guess to be fair, the gift that he's still using as his avatar that Mecha made him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I turned that into like a rotating GIF for him. I don't know if he's using it or not, but Rudy lives.
Rudy lives forever. I think I loved the best digs was the Psy-Digs for the Bear Duck Party. It was a Psyduck merging with Diggs, like David Cronenberg-esque.
Don't worry, guys. It's only 3/4 as horrifying as it sounds. Maybe slightly more. I'm not sure. You know, I
Take
think...
it easy, Fredo. Fredo? Fredo. Alfredo.
We don't talk
I will
about
gladly.
Fredo.
I will gladly mispronounce your name however you want me to.
I will gladly mispronounce your name today for a hamburger tomorrow. And a side of fries.
That's like my... This is how my life goes. I just know so many stupid references that are completely worthless for, like...
Outside of the Legion.
Well, no, it's just like in general. It's like I'll just talk to random people outside the Legion or like at work, and it's just like
They're
they're
look
like,
at
"What? What's wrong with you?"
And just a side of fries.
You're like another scorcher today. It's hot today, not yesterday, and people are like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, "Did you not have TV as a child? Are you not gonna call Sears today or JG Wentworth 877 cash now?"
I have an annuity, but I need cash now.
Like the amount of brains matter that is just memes and stupid references.
By the way, real quick, WBPL 76 not sponsored by JG Wentworth.
I have an annuity, but gosh, no.
Oh, JG Wentworth, 877 cash now.
Or anybody in the Bay Area knows. Now you have a friend in the diamond business.
Oh man, that's not unique to the Bay Area.
Is it?
No.
It's like, that's why I don't listen to radio anymore. It's just because you always hear that.
Come on down to Shane Company.
Shamecall.
Yeah, see?
Shamecall.com. It's not as bad as what is it? The traveling Chinese circus thing.
Oh God, we had that too.
You can't escape it.
Was it Shen Lo or something like that?
Shen Lu or something. It's like you can't escape the ads for it.
Come see the culture of China, and then they got like advertising. I was like, "This is what China was like before communism." And I'm like, "No, it's not." But okay.
Shen Yun.
That's it. I had
you can't escape it. And I'm not gonna go into it. It's somehow like really weird, and the show is not something you should go see. But the advertising is everywhere.
Like 6 months before the show happens, it's like, yes, we shall advertise the shit out of this. Okay. This is not what I would call like competition quality on this. I'll post some pictures a little bit later, or I'll badger Diggs about getting this thing onto the Twitter. I'll put it on my Instagram for sure. But this probably isn't display quality, but I'm awfully happy with him. I might go through and put a little bit of highlights in his beard so it stands out a little more, but I'm pretty happy with this LeChuck. I don't know about y'all. Like, after he dries, he'll look good, and I'll have to decide whether to gloss varnish or matte varnish him, but LeChuck looks good. I'll tell you what I will do, though. While I've got y'all here, we didn't get to do this last week. That is my basing material. And this is homebrew basing texture, and it looks delicious, doesn't it, Amba?
Oh, it does. All the stuff that if you get it... okay. There was a delay in it. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so here's the thing. You mix it up a little bit, and it's fine. There's nothing alive in here, I promise. I add alcohol to it occasionally to kill it. But here's the thing. This is predominantly a mix of water and sand with some used and ground coffee grounds for a little bit of large texture. And it will actually make a really good basing texture.
So now that you've stirred it up and it doesn't look like just a
It
mold culture.
Right. That I do actually occasionally add a little bit of denatured alcohol to it. When it dries, it tends to look. Let's see. Here's
you have to feed it like a bread starter.
Yeah, exactly. When it dries, it will end up looking something like this. I have actually painted over this once, but like the texture's fine. The texture's great on this. When I put it on, it'll be just like your regular basing texture, and it like the shit is practically free. And I don't know if you've looked up the prices of texture paste, but anywhere you can cut prices on this stuff, I absolutely will go for that. Which is
the sand in the lake is free. The government doesn't want you to know that.
That's right. Viejo and GW are very, very much not interested in you figuring out that you can base stuff with things that you find around your house. One thing that I mean to keep getting to, but I never actually paint anything appropriate for like a forest setting, is like used tea leaves. Like dry out, use a tea bag, empty it out, dry it out, put it in the oven for a while so it kills anything that might be living in it, put it in a container, etc., etc. And like it makes great ground cover for like forests and stuff. It's fantastic.
It looks like it would dry smooth though, and not kind of gritty.
This stuff, it dries smooth-ish, but that's where the coffee grounds come in. The coffee grounds this will dry out and draw back from everything as it does that, and like the coffee grounds will stand out. And for the purposes of LeChuck here, it'll make sand, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Like he's standing on a beach. Like I know in the cover art he's standing on the deck of his ship. But in this case, we're going to say he's standing on a beach, torturing our protagonist, Guybrush Threepwood, who on the cover of the box art for the second game does in fact have a beard. And he'll be having a bad time of it because, well, LeChuck is, I guess, taking a vacation in Tahiti or something. He's voodoo dolling it up.
The night clerk wants to know if you want the mini file after they're finished with it.
What's that?
The night clerk is asking if you would like a mini file when it is done.
For?
Does not currently say, but I'll keep an eye.
Oh, yes. Car Kick Store, who happens to be my wife, says I'm no longer allowed to dry out and sanitize sand in the kitchen oven anymore. So make a note, those of you that have significant others to deal with, you may have some consequences to deal with for your art, but we all have prices we have to pay for our passions.
Hi, Mrs. Parallax.
Dr. Mrs. Parallax.
Dr. Mrs. Parallax.
I'm not stepping in that shit.
Yep, you just drew wife aggro. Quick, throw crafting materials that she likes into the other room and see.
Look, cross-stitch floss.
Look, it's a paper with with your favorite topic where they're wrong, so you get to counter their thesis or something. I don't know.
She doesn't have patience to care about that anymore.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Okay, let's see. Now we need to go back here to our friend LeChuck's Revenge. Now let's actually move that camera a little bit. I hope the camera's better than it was last week. I know it's still not focusing super well, but it's closer to the action now.
Focus, you fuck.
Yes.
Gotta have the AVE skookum as frig, and
it's a real skookum choocher.
Got some shmoo there on your hand, bud.
You know what I got right here? You know what this is? That's a real nut fucker right there.
And then you got to piss off Psyduck by saying like, "Oh yeah, it's Timmy Ho-Ho's."
Like, he gets real mad about that, but I mean, AVE is Canadian.
What for the electric pixies and the it burns. Thank you for following Stickstelmeek?
Sklitzel Skim.
Mr. Pitlick?
If we manage to convince him to say their name backwards, they go back to the 5th dimension for 6 months.
Kebert Zella? Ah. Oh, I miss Alex Trebek.
We all do. We all do. I think, I didn't actually highlight LeChuck the way I meant to. We'll have to go back to that in a moment.
The mini file in question is Mr. Nick riding an ostrich while shooting zombies in full tactical gear.
Yes.
So wait, is Nick in the tactical gear? Is the ostrich in tactical gear, or the zombie in tactical gear?
But let's be honest. I don't care. I still want it. Like, put that shit on Thingiverse, and like we'll all have it.
Thank you for the follow, Rajak Demacus. Demacus.
We just
ostrich parting.
We just keep picking up followers. For those of you that haven't been following along with our actual count, WBPL 76 since last Saturday has more than doubled in size as far as followers go. We are very thrilled about that.
It's fucking delightful.
Yep.
Oh, there. You should add a hidden spider somewhere in there.
A hidden spider on this thing?
No, on the ostrich riding zombie shooting model. Nick is or was that Crow? I think it was Nick who was terrified of spiders, and we tried to convince him to play Kill It With Fire at one point.
I know Psyduck absolutely loved him there for a while. That is to say, he really didn't. Look what...
Tactically grumpy. Thank you for your Bezos bucks. Golden days. Nick is also famously, well, maybe infamously, the person who used the phrase power bottom without knowing what it meant.
Oh my.
That was funny when he finally learned.
That's a mistake you only make... Well, I'd like to say that's a mistake you only make once, but honestly, like, that's a mistake you can make over and over again until you learn better.
Super Chief 2112, thank you for continuing the sub.
Excellent. Thank you all very much. You know what? I'm always convinced I'm going to get on here on a Thursday night, and it's going to be like, okay, I'm following up this giant State of Decay stream. Let's see how the numbers tank, and y'all just keep surprising me, and I want to tell you I appreciate it.
That's what I appreciate about you, chat.
Yes. Yes, it is.
No, Letterkenny's great. Love Letterkenny. Scrumble's voice pack for HBS Battletech.
Scrumble's no like enemy dragon. Punch.
I don't know. It might happen if you convince Tex. He's done voices for things before, if I recall.
Tex has 2 voices in the Rogue Tech pack. So he actually has Randolph and he has Grandpa Tex.
Your sister's hot. There, I said it.
There was a little Admiral Akbar-ish right there.
It's a trap. Well, it's always a trap. Oh,
Admiral Akbar. Admiral Akbar, we'd like you to review this new product that's been sent to us. It's some crap!
You want anything to eat? I'd like a snack. Uh,
Admiral, you're looking a little tired there. Do you need to take a break? I want a nap. And see, this is just a variation on my favorite game of getting characters that are known for like one saying and variations on it, where you end up with things where it's like Solid Snake saying, "You're that ninja," or Metal Gear.
oh, God. Just like my Japanese anime. I've seen enough anime to know where this is going.
Like somehow in my head, I haven't found this joke yet, but there's a joke in here somewhere of just like a series of images of Snake pointing at things and saying what they are. Like, "You're that ninja," and pointing at like a cog and saying Metal Gear. And like, I don't actually know if the joke is funny, but it's funny in my head.
That's all you need is it to amuse yourself. Get that little boost of serotonin, that happy chemical going in your brain.
And just a happy little chemical party right there in your brain. So I got some real groans out of this one when Tex and Deputy were playing Metal Gear Solid. I think it was 5 a few months ago. Amber, let me ask you a question. Do you know what Snake's favorite beer is?
Metal beer?
It's Steel Reserve, because it is metal beer.
Yeah, I was close.
You were. That's a terrible joke, and I almost want to apologize, but I'm not going to.
I wish Depp would stream more of the Metal Gear series. That was a great time, just having that craziness.
Well, I suspect they're going to, because they're talking about it being Metal Gear Mondays.
Ooh.
And there was some debate about whether or not they were going to start with the NES games or not, but it looks like they've decided not to.
I wouldn't be that surprised. Who was playing? Somebody was playing Resident Evil, and they had modded Mr. X to be like in a beach outfit. So he was in like a umbrella speedo with sunglasses and flip flops, and it was freaking great.
I don't know who was doing that one, but
it was amazing.
Couple more touch-ups here on LeChuck's Revenge, and I think we're going to be happy with him. We might do a little bit more basing work on him, since his basing is already done, and it has a base coat on it and such, but, no, that's the wrong contrast paint for that. This is the right contrast paint. That's here in your $1 spring clamp. If I don't teach you people anything else, spring clamps for Citadel paints. I swear, this is the best thing.
Make sure you actually properly close the thing and before you shake it.
Don't use the ones that are too small. This is a problem.
I was using my Blood Angel Red, and I didn't properly close the lid. I went to shake it, and it looked like I'd died or gotten severely wounded.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, I guess it's closing in on a month now, I was shaking a bottle of, it was some Citadel orange, and I don't know what it was. It was eye-searingly orange. And I had moved it to a dropper bottle. I'm sitting here, and I'm shaking it, and I'm shaking it, and I'm shaking it, and it slips out of my hand. I haven't found it in a month. That thing fucking vaporized.
And it's gone.
Exactly. Just like investments in, well, I'd say South Park, but let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, what am I doing? LeChuck's Revenge, of course, he needs his medium lasers colored in. You can't be going around.
Laser explosion?
You can't be going around in an Orion that doesn't have its medium lasers colored in. A little bit of this bright red down into the middles of the arms. That's one thing I love about the Orions, is that you can do so many crazy things with an Orion. But the other nice thing is that the arms are designed to just punch the hell out of stuff. Even though they don't have hand actuators, they've got like these preposterously heavy arms. You just punch the hell out of stuff. It's great.
Preposterous amount of arm damage. Preposterous.
We almost had an accident just then. I picked that bottle of Black Templar up and the top wasn't on it. And this time I managed not to cover myself in $8 a pot paint. This is a good thing.
What do they call it? Aposematism? Like the nature thing of don't go for things that are brightly colored.
I'm familiar with the concept, but I haven't heard a name for it, so I'm going to take your word on that one.
Pretty sure it's aposematism. I just think of it because every time I see a woman with particularly neon colored hair, they're probably not the nicest person to be around. Actually, it's anybody, not just women, who have particularly flamboyant colored hair.
The contemporary frosted tips.
And it's there are exceptions. There are some really cool people with colored hair, but it's like Karen cut plus colored hair equals keep your distance.
We're just painting a picture here, aren't we? Get a little bit of edge highlighting on some of this red to pop it back out some. But
you gonna dry brush it?
No, I'm pointedly not gonna dry brush this one because there are too many colors too close together. So we're gonna carefully go through and edge highlight him.
I love dry brushing. Even on contrast, it makes everything just molto bene. You got that Italian hand thing going on.
For some things, I agree with you, but when you've got, this guy is 4 different colors. If I dry brushed him with anything, I would just wreck it. Just wreck it.
I'm gonna wreck. Well, you might be able to get away with something like a metallic silver.
That's
so it
true.
looks more like battle damage or something.
That's true. I could do that. He'd need to dry for a bit first.
Oh yeah.
Which I've got 10 minutes left on the stream. He might dry in time. We'll find out. But dry brushing and then hitting him with a little sponge with some brown or some black to dirty him up. That's, as you said, that's mwah.
The molto bene. That's the secret sauce of making something look absolutely perfect. It's just that little bit of dry brush.
Let's see here.
Just a little dry brush as a treat.
Mex can have a little silver dry brush.
Can Mex have silver dry brush? Yes, they can have a little. As a treat. Now we're talking about anime all of a sudden. Yes, Cowboy Bebop is amazing. Death Note up until I don't know. It's like, 10 years old now? Up until the end of the first arc is great.
You can't talk to me about this stuff. I was still of that generation where anime was this weird thing that was in like the back of the store. So like I had a little exposure, but not a lot.
I remember when you would have to buy box sets to watch any kind of anime before streaming was a thing.
Like the OVAs. We came from the age of the OVA.
Yeah. Like that was old school stuff, even though it was brand new. It was Cowboy Bebop, Trigun.
Let me tell you 3 things about Gundam Wing Endless Waltz you don't know.
Did you know that the only thing that can beat Gundam Sandrock is another Gundam Sandrock? Because he loses to everything else. Literally, it's just a chicken mech that explodes. That's your purpose, is you just blow up.
Let me tell you 3 things about the Tallgeese Mark 1. A fly just landed on my Orion on stream. Who saw that? Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you that Gundam Wing sucks, but I was like a kid when that first aired on Toonami, and like that was really cool as a kid.
Yep.
It's kind of like
now it's like
I remember Like the first anime I ever really watched was, and I'm picking my words here very carefully.
You're
Uh,
dating yourself.
Robotech. That is to say, not Macross, Robotech. That aired when Toonami was first a thing in like 1996.
Was that? Did they have Robotech? I don't remember back then.
Yeah, it was like in their first lineup, their original lineup of stuff. And like, yeah, I watched that and like, oh yeah, I'm willing to accept that a woman singing can win a war.
This is like Code Geass before Geass was actually a thing.
Like I said, I'm gonna have to take your word on it.
Yeah. It's another mech-ish drama show kind of thing. But it's got the crazy orange guy. Oh, man. I have friends who watch all of One Piece. I think Monvan actually watches all of One Piece. I'm like, how can you bother watching all of it? It's the
How can
same
you possibly
thing.
keep up?
Well, I mean, it's got over 1,000 episodes. It's like just as bad as Detective Conan, where you can only show up to a murder and be in the vicinity of it so often before you start being suspect. Next Conan Hinto. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, I'm the weeb. I'm one of the weebs.
It's okay, Amber. We still tolerate you.
We tolerate you for now. I mean, so gotta admit, some of the Gundam models and just designs of Gundams are beautiful. They're just elegant.
If you're willing to accept them as like, yeah, this is entirely a fantasy, then sure.
Yeah, I mean, it makes more sense in space where having a humanoid robot would actually make a lot better sense than a stompy boy, but
Look at you standing there with your Veritech fighters.
I
Okay.
mean, you can not like it if you don't, but you have to admit Bandai Namco and the Gundam models that they put out, like the Perfect Grade and Real Grade, they are some of the best models I have ever assembled.
Okay, here we go. We're going to put a little bit of silver dry brushing across LeChuck's Revenge.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. A little tiny bit. As we close in on the end of this stream, we're going to try to get some finishing touches on this Orion.
Just make a little sparkle.
Yeah, just to make him look like he's broken in some, you know? Just broken in. He's like a comfortable pair of shoes, you know? He's like that pair of jeans you've had since you were in high school.
Ones with like 18 holes in the crotch.
Yeah, those.
Back in the day before they had pre-weathered jeans where you had to weather them yourself, damn it.
What's this? Why, that's my bench grinder. What's that for? Weathering jeans.
It's like, why don't you just, I don't know, throw it in a gutter and run it over with a car a bit?
Because that's not like rough enough.
And now that $50 pair of jeans is worth $3,000. Fashion.
Welcome to the world of high fashion. Play the intro to the Conan music. You are now entering a world of high fashion. Ba-da-da. Now, if I can find my tweezers that I actually want here, we're going to show off that technique we were talking about earlier of taking just a little bit of sponge, you know, just a little bit of sponge, and then dabbing some weathering onto him.
Dab, 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 dab.
Dab.
This is the good kind of dabbing. Not that other kind.
You're that ninja.
I mean, fashion can come up with some cool things like dresses that transform with like electronic lights and shit, but oftentimes it's just like, oh yeah, this is what somebody like 30 years ago would envision the future would look like, and it's just some weird like pea coat with gigantic frills, and
The future Conan?
it's the future.
There's too much of that paint on that. Let's get some of that off. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the process of painting miniatures, you will find that you will get roughly 50% of the paint that you put on your palette onto the model, and the other 50% will either stay on your palette or end up on a paper towel. And you'll kind of cry about that sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this is $8 worth in paint here.
Let's wipe half of it off on a paper towel. Because you don't want to use too much of it, do you? Okay, that's enough of that. And now let's get a little black. Just a touch of that black. And I think our good friend here, LeChuck's Revenge, is going to be done. And we will call the night after that.
It is an expensive hobby, but
3D printing makes it a lot easier, I promise.
It's the paint for me, not the models. It just takes so much time and effort, and that's why I love contrast, because you can just like slap out models.
Well, that really depends on what your goal is. For me, I want to get better at painting. And like because of that, I paint a lot of models, and if I have access to a 3D printer, then that brings that cost down hilariously. Like something the size of this Orion, this might be a $5 model if you buy it from Catalyst in a pack. Like the inner sphere packs that this thing is in. It's $20 for the pack. There's 4 mechs in it, which, I mean, all told, that's not a terrible price when you're looking at Battletech and, you know, frankly, a lance and the base set, and you can have, you know, several different lances to play with. But I can print this for like 15 cents.
Oh man, I would love to be able to print Bionicle parts or Lego Technic parts in general.
I feel like that's absolutely a possibility, and Lego will sue your ass into the ground.
Matanui. Oh, that'd be so great. I love the Bionicles that threw the discs. I don't know why. I just did.
All right. Well, here's where we are. This is where we ended up with LeChuck's Revenge, and I'll probably do a little bit more work on LeChuck himself off stream just to get some more highlights onto him, but I'm pretty happy with where he is. And I'll get Diggs to put that out on the Twitter a little bit later, and I'll put him on my Instagram. But remember, tomorrow Bowser is going to be running the Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition right here. I don't immediately remember what time, but we do in fact have a schedule here on WBPL 76 you can look at. I'd like to thank everybody for coming along tonight. Special double ultra mega thanks to Ambulance for coming along with us tonight. And
It's a lot of fun.
yeah, and maybe I'm going to try to have you back next week if you can. But
I should be around.
that sounds great.
Diggs has been trying to convince me also to run my own show, doing either like puzzles or something.
You should. You should. We will absolutely be happy to have every kind of content here on WBPL 76 you can possibly imagine, because remember, we are Texas' dream of being weird shit for people to watch whenever they want to. So, on that, as I slowly put stuff away, I'm going to say thanks, y'all, for coming along. Thanks again to Amba, and we are going to go ahead and head on out of here. Y'all have a good night, and we're going to see you again next week. Amba?
Take it easy. Stay safe. Keep your dick in a vice.
We're going to stick with the AVE stuff in the future, so later on, y'all.
Gotta have that.